Who's the richest person in history? Throughout human history, kings, emperors, oil tycoons, and tech billionaires have battled for wealth and power. But only one question remains unanswered. Who was the richest person ever? Was it Elon Musk? With his empire of rockets and cars? Jeff Bezos, the man who turned online shopping into a trillion-dollar kingdom? Or perhaps someone from centuries ago, a name lost in the sands of time, whose fortune was so massive it reshaped entire economies. Tonight, we uncover the truth. Modern giants. Let's start with the billionaires we know. In 2025, Elon Musk's net worth peaked at around $140 billion, fueled by Tesla, SpaceX, and formerly Twitter. Jeff Bezos followed closely, with Amazon dominating global commerce and cloud computing giving him a fortune near $190 billion. Then came Bernard Arnault, the king of luxury, whose LVMH empire, Louis Vuitton, Dior, Tiffany crowned him Europe's richest man. These names dominate headlines, but in the vast timeline of human civilization, their fortunes are tiny compared to those who ruled empires, not companies. When wealth meant power, before banks and stock markets, wealth wasn't measured in dollars or shares. It was measured in gold, land, and loyalty. Let us go back centuries, before Elon Musk's rockets, to the time of emperors who owned nations, the forgotten billionaires. Consider Augustus Caesar, the first emperor of Rome. When he ruled around the year 27 BC, the Roman Empire controlled nearly 25% of the world's GDP. Historians estimate that Augustus's personal wealth was roughly 1/5 of the entire Roman economy, equivalent to $4.6 trillion today. Imagine one man controlling more wealth than the entire GDP of modern-day Germany. His fortune wasn't in stock. It was in land, armies, and taxes from millions of citizens. But Augustus wasn't alone in this league. The oil kings. Fast forward to the industrial age. In the late 1800s, one man rose from a modest bookkeeper to become the wealthiest American in history, John D. Rockefeller. At the height of his empire, Standard Oil controlled over 90% of all U.S. oil production. By 1913, his net worth was about $900 million, which, adjusted for inflation, equals over $400 billion today. His power was so vast that the U.S. government had to break up his company under antitrust laws. But even then, the stock he owned in the new companies made him richer. Rockefeller was the first modern billionaire, but still not the richest human who ever lived. The banker of empires. Before Rockefeller, another legend dominated European finance, Jacob Fugger, known as Fugger the Rich. Born in 1459, Fugger became the banker of emperors and popes. He financed wars, lent money to monarchs, and even decided who became the Holy Roman Emperor. Historians estimate his wealth reached a percent of Europe's GDP, the equivalent of $400 to $500 billion today. He literally controlled the fate of kingdoms from his desk in Augsburg, the richest of them all. But none of these men, not Musk, not Rockefeller, not even Caesar, could rival one man, a ruler whose name still echoes through history, Mansa Musa, the Emperor of Mali. Mansa Musa, the Golden King. In the 14th century, West Africa was home to one of the greatest empires the world had ever seen. The Mali Empire controlled massive trade routes filled with salt, ivory, and most importantly, gold. Mansa Musa inherited the throne in 1312, and with it, half of the world's known gold reserves. His wealth was so unimaginable that historians struggle to measure it. When he made his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324, he traveled with 60,000 men, 12,000 slaves, and 80 camels carrying 300 pounds of gold each. He spent so lavishly in Cairo that he collapsed the local economy, devaluing gold for over a decade. That's right, he literally made gold worthless. Modern economists estimate his wealth at the equivalent of $400 billion to $500 billion. But others argue it could easily exceed $1 trillion in today's terms, possibly even $1 trillion if all assets were counted. The ripple effect. Mansa Musa's wealth built cities, funded education, and turned Timbuktu into the center of Islamic learning. His empire became a beacon of culture and science while Europe was still in the Dark Ages. After his death, no one could maintain such power. His descendants fought over his empire, trade routes shifted, and Mali slowly faded from glory. But the legend of his gold lived on, comparing the giants. So, who's the richest person in history? If we compare real purchasing power, Elon Musk, to $140 billion Rockefeller, tilled for $100 billion. Adjusted Augustus Caesar, tilled for $0.6 trillion relative to GDP. Mansa Musa, estimated between $400 billion and $1 trillion. But experts agree Mansa Musa remains the most realistic and historically supported answer. He wasn't just rich, he was wealth itself. The richest man in history didn't build a tech empire or own a social network. He ruled a kingdom built on gold, faith, and knowledge, and his generosity changed economies forever. Perhaps true wealth isn't just about what you own, but about how your fortune changes the world around you. If you enjoyed uncovering the truth behind history's greatest fortunes, make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video, because next time we'll reveal the dark side of another fortune and what it really costs to become rich.